Hello, everybody. My name is Meeta Basu, and I'm from CSO Global. It is my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, where we will explore the nuances of sustainability reporting and the critical role that technology plays in simplifying its implementation. The Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework has become a cornerstone for companies in India, aligning it with global ESG standards and fostering transparency. So, we will begin by gaining an overview of the BRSR framework and dive into its critical reporting components while reflecting on the updates for 2023-24. As sustainability reporting evolves, so do the tools to manage its implementation. And technology is no longer just an enabler, but it's a game changer. We will discuss how digital tools streamline data management and enhance reporting accuracy. A live demonstration of the innovative technology platform will showcase how organizations can overcome common challenges. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this insightful journey, and I urge you all to make the most of this webinar. I would like to now call upon Mr. Hargovind Sachdev to introduce the chief guest for the event. Hargovind, sir.
Thank you, Meeta Basu. Worthy colleagues of SAM Corporate and CSO Global, and honorable persons who have joined us in this webinar. I welcome you all and would like to submit that economic growth that compromises on environment and social well-being becomes lopsided and unstable. A sustainable, stable, and inclusive economy thus depends very much on how robust and responsible is the mobilization and allocation of capital, the key function of the financial sector. Friends, financial institutions play a very, very important role and are imperative to sustainable development. You just saw, and people are still struggling in US fighting the fires. Now it is heard that money was diverted to harness fish ponds, and there is no money left to invest in extinguishing fires. The fire tenders are running empty. The ponds are having a lot of fish, but there is nothing to save human beings. Now that sort of lopsided development, even in advanced country like US, has left more than 20,000 houses totally burnt out and $8 billion worth of loss, and almost 11 people have lost their lives. So this BRSR statement, that gives a sort of deep insight into what the companies are doing, what these banks, which are, harnessing a lot of public money, are doing towards saving this Mother Earth. We are extremely honored that to dwell on this subject, we have the esteemed presence of Shri Tangsale, Mohan Tangsale ji, who has traveled overnight from Canada to be, chief guest here. Shri Mohan Tangsale does not need any introduction. He has been CEO of Indian Banks Association. Before that, he was the CMD of Central Bank of India, one of the biggest nationalized banks in India. The one-line introduction about Mr. Mohan Tangsale is that he is the pioneer of responsible banking in India. I will leave it at this and let his speech disclose how concerned he is about ESG and then about BSR statement being submitted regularly by corporates who are whether top 1,000 or not. Over to Shri Mohan Tangsale ji.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sajdev, for I'm humbled by your introduction. So it's indeed an honor and privilege to join you today for this webinar on BRSR, its implication, implementation challenges, and adopting technology solutions. Let me tell you, as Mr. Sajdev said, I traveled from Canada to India. The first thing which I observed in the morning while in Mumbai from my residence, that there is a huge difference in the pollution, which I could see in the early morning from my 31st floor, and what I've been seeing in US or Canada. And I think this is the most important concern that Sam and CSO are really handling. I'm very happy about it. They're doing a great job. So before we dive into the discussions, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizing partners, CSO Global in collaboration with SAM Corporate, uh, along with all the speakers and the participants who have taken the time to join in this important conversation. Well, the activities actually started way back in 2012 when the BRR was Business Responsibility Report was released, and it was more or less a voluntary. Nevertheless, we in the Indian Banks Association worked on that with the GIZ Germany and brought out the National Voluntary Guidelines for Responsible Financing in 2017. And thus, financial institutions are equally engaged. Uh, but in the recent years, with the increasing environmental and the social challenges, the role of businesses in driving sustainability is no longer optional. It's essential. In fact, I would say that today every global investor first looks for what is your credit scoring on the ESG and then takes a call. So in India, this responsibility is being guided by the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting Framework, which is introduced by SEBI recently in 2024, to ensure the transparency, accountability, and ethical governance in business operations. This framework, introduced by SEBI, is a pivotal step in guiding Indian businesses towards more transparent, accountable, and ESG-focused practices. It not only enhances the corporate responsibility, but also helps uh, align organizations with India's sustainability and net zero goals. BRSR is not just another compliance requirement. It is a critical pathway to align businesses with India's sustainable development goals and a global vision of net zero future. It represents a shift from the shareholder driven practices to the stakeholder driven practices, emphasizing the triple bottom line people, planet, and profit. And thus, it's extremely important that the organizations, the corporate sector, the financial sector accept these guidelines in the letter and spirit and try to see that by doing that, how can you really contribute towards improving the ESG factors and reaching to the global vision of net zero future. Well, this webinar is extremely timely, I will say, and the adoption of BRSR is brought with its several implications. While it paves the way for a greener, more responsible corporate ecosystem, its implementation comes with its own set of challenges. Businesses, large and small, are grappling with it. I think the biggest challenge is the data collection, because gathering accurate ESG data across complex supply chains, uh, data management, undigitized data, fragmented data points, and the onerous task of compiling and harmonizing data from different formats and sizes are real complexities that the companies face. And I'm very sure that Sam and CSO Global are going to give the helping hand. Along with this, the compliance, readiness, maintaining transparency and consistency with global frameworks like the Global Reporting Initiative, the Task Force on Climate Related Disclosures, Sustainability Accounting and Standards Board. I think these are very, very important guidance which is available globally, and we all must see that, of course, the BRSR has adopted most of this, and these regulations for the corporate sector, they will take care of the stakeholders' interests in totality. Well, this webinar aims to provide insights and practical solutions to address these challenges by the end of today's session. We hope to equip you with the knowledge, strategies, and technological tools necessary for effective BRSR implementation. Technology has tremendous role to ensure that it's not only that you are able to comply, but you are also able to monitor and make sure that you are contributing in letter and spirits. And thus, the technology will help you automate data collection, enable real-time monitoring, ensure transparency, and generate insights. So technology is not just an enabler, but a game changer in the journey towards responsible business practices. Technology alone cannot drive success. It requires a combination of leadership, commitment, employee engagement, and collaboration among industry peers. Today's event is an opportunity to share experiences, learn from the best practices, and discuss innovative solutions that can make BRSR compliance seamless. I encourage all the participants to actively engage, ask questions, and exchange ideas. Together, we can create a roadmap of resilient and responsible businesses that contribute positively to the society and the government. I'm very sure we all, as individuals, come across these situations at different levels and always feel, no, this needs an improvement. And thus, probably your understanding, your contribution towards this particular initiative will be extremely helpful. So as we embark on today's discussion, let's remember that implementing BRSR is more than fulfilling a mandate. It's all about a sustainable future for our companies, communities, and the country. Let this webinar be a stepping stone towards innovation, responsibility, and excellence in the realm of business sustainability reporting. I once again thank Mr. Hargovind Sajdev, who has been uh, chasing me maybe from my US and Canada days, and the CSO Global and Sam for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very sure this webinar will contribute a lot for the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a very insightful advice from you. Thank you once again. Now, may I call upon David Cole, sir, from CSO Global, to speak a few words about the strategic partnership between CSO Global and SAM Corporate. David, can you please come?
Yes, hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can. Yes, we can, David.
Very good. Well, greetings to everyone. Thank you for being here and being part of this great opportunity to work together and share common interest in combating climate issues and other challenges around our globe. As a group, I think we all recognize the challenges and the value of working together. The strategic partnership with SAM ESG, who clearly is a technology partner and pioneer in BRSR reporting. We believe that we can elevate the standard in ESG solutions by combining consulting expertise and state-of-the-art technological capabilities. So that's probably the most important message to get apart is the value of partnership, the value of a shared vision, and the focus on the core pillars of what we're going to do together. You know, excellence in delivering solutions. That's the number one objective. You need technology, you need people, you need consulting, you need expertise. And we at CSO Global are committed to delivering the best solutions to move beyond just compliance. Okay, check a box, to actually making a difference, measurable impact. We believe that SAM ESG's innovative technology with our consulting can help us not just meet regulations like BRSR, but also drive positive change across operations and communities and companies and countries. Our organizational capability, we want to focus on partnering to the best practices, not just what we bring, but help companies and others develop their own ESG practices within their own companies and capabilities. So that comes through training. It comes through guidance and strategy. It comes from leadership and training other leaders, and making sure all stakeholders are equipped to champion and do what needs to be done to evolve and grow the framework necessary to support ESG. Next, kind of as a focus, is the integrated reporting. Reporting, you got to be able to measure. You can't manage it if you can't measure it. And we believe the ESG reporting, particularly for BRSR, is so important to get right. You got to have precision, agility, flexibility. You got to be able to adapt to what changes. And we believe SAM ESG provides that integrated solution that we can amplify and simplify reporting while giving insights to help make decisions and drive change for strategic alignment. And lastly, just the end-to-end support for seamless ESG implementation. There's no one person who knows it all. There's no one solution to fix it all. It has to be an integrated, end-to-end, well thought out, collaborated solution. Services, people, monitoring, reporting. This is the key: partnership, collaboration, and integration. So as we talk about the rest of today, this shared vision, creating a future which is better than today, working together, that's really what we're all about. So I thank everybody for the opportunity to speak to you today and look forward to additional conversations as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. May I now call upon Dr. Sunil Kumar, the co-founder or founder of SAM Corporate, to share his views, please, on the subject.
Thank you so much. Thanks, David. I think I share the vision what you have mentioned. So when I start, I think I see a beautiful combination here of two important neural networks. One is a natural neural network, which CSO Global brings, with an expertise which is in the brain, which is in the experience, the real human brain, we call it. And as SAM Global, we bring in AI neural network, which is the technology neural network, the machine learning and the technology capability. Combining these two neural networks together brings us the unified expertise. I think there cannot be a better way to represent our joint effort, what we are planning to do together, other than that these two neural networks represent the universe of what we are doing together. With that, I think what we are doing with technology meeting strategy is something very interesting, because as we know, sustainability is not just a tick box. Everybody has been mentioning that. It touches not only the stakeholder, the shareholder, the regulator. It is end to end, from bottom to the top and top to the bottom. Touches everyone in the organization, whoever is working at whichever level. So it's a strategy meeting the execution right on the ground. We have several cases when we are talking to customers where operational efficiencies are derived out of simple ESG reports. Where an organization, when they see E part of the ESG and they realize how much they are spending on energy in E, they realize that there is a huge amount of money which is spent and which is wasted in one or the other way. So sustainability or ESG is not just compliance. It is definitely a lot of strategy and operational. And who can do that? It is, of course, you require an expert team who has a knowledge and understanding of the market, of the sector in which you are dealing with. And that's where I think we are very glad to partner with CSO Global, who bring in that expertise of several years, where we feel this collaboration can provide unmatched value to the clients. In terms of future-ready solution, I think in last 20 years of my career, I haven't seen any more dynamic field than the sustainability and ESG. Every day is a change. Every day there is something new which is happening. When we talk to any new customer or our supplier or our partner, we find something new. It's a learning playground where every day you are learning something new. The most dynamic field what you have, what do you require for this? You require a team who has their vision on the horizon, but the foot on the ground, who can look at the horizon say, yes, this is what you require 5 years from now. This is the strategy you should have. This is the vision an organization should carry. Set up a roadmap, a path, and that roadmap and path needs to be implemented through a technology which can regularly monitor and measure how you're doing it. This combination is, I think, is the best combination what we can derive out of this. So I think I leave the rest of it to the experts. We have quite a few experts here, and I'm eager to hear from all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So are we eager to hear to the experts. May I now call upon Dr. Mana Singh, a certified expert and auditor for ESG, carbon and sustainability solutions, and we shall deep dive into the subject of BRSR. Ma'am, please take over.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm very glad that we have a chief guest today who has spoken about such an important subject. And thank you, Dr. Sunil from SAM as well. You have set the tone that what is BRSR and why the organization needs to have mission and vision for the long term to achieve their sustainability goals. But I think for doing everything, today's discussion is about BRSR. So if I need to talk about the framework, definitely for the audience. So, guys, the BRSR is a framework which Indian companies to report on their environmental, social, and governance disclosures, which we call ESG. So if you see the BRSR, it demonstrates corporate the company's commitments to nation building and sustainability by in a very transparent manner, and it is also communicating its performance to its stakeholders. So this is the difference you can see between CSR, which we used to do earlier, the terminology we were using, corporate social responsibility. But when we talk about ESG, this is beyond because it mentioned involved the performance of the organization about its environmental performance, social, and its economic. So it's a triple bottom line, a complete protocol of all these three parameters. Next. Yeah. So I think the background which our honorable chief guest has already given some glimpses of that how the journey of BRSR in India has been introduced by Ministry of Corporate and Affairs in 2011. So we were just looking into some national voluntary guidelines that time, but the SEBI has introduced then. If you see earlier, it was for the thousands, 100 companies. Now the guidelines have been come for the 1,000 listed companies by the market capitalization, just to include, BRSR in their annual reports. So it has become a mandate for 1,000 listed companies. Apart from that, if you see the funds in India, which contribute only around 0.05% of the global assets in the sustainable funds, even out of 8 ESG funds in India, 6 were launched in COVID era in 2020. So thereby indicating the increasing focus and appetite for sustainable investing. Even you can see due to climate scenario, global warming, we are discussing about this Mother Earth temperature and the expectations, we are having impacts of the global warming. So there's a lot of, the buzz all around globally about this ESG. So even the entire social media is full of, this ESG jobs, ESG investing. So this is what the BRSR has, come up with the guidelines and very well set framework for the Indian market to bring a responsible framework for India where companies can contribute their responsibility towards their nation about environmental as well as economy as well as their social endeavors. And I would also like to mention here that our Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi, he also acknowledged, this particular ERS framework of BRSR for making the companies for their transformation in a responsible manner, how they will change their vision and do the transition in a very sustainable business manner. Next. So let me tell you the BRSR framework, it comprises of three very important sections when we talk about the disclosures. So one is about your journal disclosures, and second is your management and process disclosures. And third one is about the principal voice performance disclosures, which are basically nothing, it's just a 9 principles which has been designed in a very well settled framework. And each principle gives you a lot of insight about all the disclosures, what should be mandatory and what should be voluntary. So here, I'll be just talking about general disclosure are very simple about the organization, like about your organization, like what is the details, like your listed entity, your products, services you are dealing into, what kind of business operations you are dealing, how many employees you have, your stakeholders, internal, external, all these definitions in the general disclosures about your holdings, subsidiaries, your CSR details, all these comes under the general disclosure. And in the management disclosure, it is more about your how do you see the inclusion of your the policies, in line with this 9 principle which BRSR defined. And the policy procedures, of course, that is also integral part of the management disclosure. Then also your vision, your company statement by the directors, then your goals and targets, and also your codes, certifications, levels, standards, whatever your company has achieved as a credential is, the field they are dealing with. So all those certifications and codes are integral part of this management disclosure. And apart from that, there is a statement by the director, like what is his mission and vision towards, the long term sustainability goals, how he feels, how he wants to take his company to a newer heights when it is in a responsible manner, not just from the conventional point of view. So how he sees that all transition factor, what is his understanding about that? Then also that how you define the authority, decision, formation of committee is a very, very important as a management disclosure, because that's the starting point in any organization when you define the responsibility metrics, that who will do what when you define the ESG targets. And also then when you look the national guidelines of BRSR and you review, and you basically you try to synergize it with your current operational requirements, and you make it more responsible towards your stakeholders, towards the environment, and towards the larger segment of the community. So it's a very integrated approach. And another factor in the management disclosures, that's about the independent assessment by the third party, which adds a lot of, I would say, credential that there is a third party who also see your ESG sustainability reporting, so that they verify and they do the validation of all the compliances. So basically, your the whatever you are doing and you are trying to prove through execution, complying, so everything is through a check on. So third party is doing that aspect, and you can call it a regional basically you can call it third party assurance, which is a regional assurance that is defined by the SEBI. So now let's talk about those principles in the third section after general and management disclosure. So now let's talk about those principles. So there are 9 principles, as I said earlier. So principle one talks about how your businesses you should conduct and govern themselves with the integrity and in a manner that you are following ethical behavior, how you have the accessibility to all your stakeholders regarding your policy mechanism, how you are bringing your decisions, top decisions about your company, and how you are disclosing to all your stakeholders, and also you are taking accountability, and how you establish your governance structure, which is in line with the sustainable development goal 16 number, SDG 16, which is about peace, justice, and strong institutions. So when you do the disclosure for your sustainability reporting under BRSR, principle one, you have to do it thorough study and introspection of each and every disclosure, and you need to write the reporting in line with this principle one. So then comes to the principle two. So when we talk about principle two, it's about basically how do you ensure in your business and operation that you are providing goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. So that means it doesn't have a negative impact on the community or individuals. So these are sustainable and these are safer when you talk about the consumers. And this is very much in line with the SDG 12, which talks about sustainable production and consumption. Similarly, when it also includes safety and resource efficiency, when you design it, when you manufacture it, so how do you address its life cycle approach, which is cradle to cradle? You can define your boundaries for that, but that's very, very important, because how you are minimizing your overall environmental footprint, that becomes very important. Then that's why only you can optimize the resources, and you can say that it is a sustainable, it is a reliable, and it is a safe products and services which you are offering to the customers. And it is also about to understand that material sustainability issues in the have you addressed that in the product life cycle and supply chain of the vendors, which is very, very important, we need to address in the principle 2. Now if you look into the principle 3, that's more about that how you promote the well-being of all employees, not only the employees but also their families and entire value chain. So from where you are purchasing the products, purchasing the goods, purchasing the raw material, so you have to see taken in the consideration all the employees, like all the stakeholders who are part of your value chain system. So apart from that, SDG 8 is also very important in principle 3 because it helps you to promote diversity. And when I talk about diversity, that means it's about equity, dignity, and well-being. And basically, it's a provision of decent work, good work practices. So well-being of employees and their family is also one of the inclusive aspect, in the principle 3. So it is not just restricted to employees, but their family as well. So if you look into the principle 4, next. If you look into the principle 4, that talks about the interest and responsiveness about the company towards its stakeholders, not only their own employees, but also it is you have to include the impact of your businesses on the natural resources, habitats, communities, and environment. So it is a very macro level understanding of your impact of your business and operations or the larger societies and environment all. Even to protect the interest of vulnerable societies, marginalized societies, those are very, very important aspect under the principle for disclosure. You cannot ignore this. So you have to see at the community level as well as the individual level, which is very important in the principle 4. And also you have to maximize the positive impact and minimize the adverse impacts. So basically, all these principles are, giving thirst to follow the good practices in overall business operations. So why, how you can become more sustainable, more responsible, not only to your employees, but also the larger section of the community and the vulnerable people of the society as well. And you count that impact, which is very important. Then coming to the principle 5, it is very, very important because it talks about human rights. So it is very important for the human resource department of any organization to have such policy mechanism where human rights are very well addressed as an indivisible manner and no discrimination. And even if you see, the inspiration from Constitution of India for this principle 5 has been considered even by the UN guiding principles also. So this is what human rights, it defines the responsibility of business towards the human rights, which is very, very important, need to address when you write the report under BRSR protocol. And if you see the principle 6, this talk about when you need to make efforts as an organization to protect and restore the environment. Let me tell you, the principle 6 is just more about environment. It is a complete portfolio, 360-degree, I would say the portfolio of environmental, all consideration, which defines your environmental responsibility, your environmental consciousness towards all the aspects of environment. If I talk about biodiversity, if we talk about pollution, if we talk about natural resources, if we try to address climate change. So all the mitigation measures, adaptation and resilience. So all these factors need to be taken into consideration under principle 6. So very, very important. How do you map? How do you see the stats of your energy efficiency? How do you see your consumption patterns of these particular resources which affects your environment? And how do you see the nature-based solution which affects your biodiversity? How you can revive that? How you can repair that? So those aspects are coming into the picture under SDG goals 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So basically, when you look into the principle 6 disclosure, here very important aspect is we have to assess the environmental impacts, and then we have to also formalize the strategies and steps to minimize it. This is what the entire the strategy when we consider this environmental management at organization level. First, we find the impacts, then we formalize the strategies, and then we define the resource allocation, we define the responsibility, then we measure and monitor continuously to achieve some sort of performance in terms of environmental performance. So that may be your energy performance, that may be your water performance. You may be good any subject of related to environment. So you can consider, how you relate your business with the environmental aspects, because that is case to case. And apart from that, you have to also look into the precautionary principles at all the actions you follow within your organization. If you are a manufacturer, so what kind of, the manufacturing facility you have? So how do you map your pollution aspects there? How do you see your environmental impacts there? If you are in the real estate player, so how do you map your energy efficiency? How do you see water or all other usages or material efficiency? So it is case to case and depending about the business you do. So your environmental goals and settings and your management practices depends upon the type of business you deal with, and you understand its impacts. You do the inventory of that, then you define the strategy about that. So it's just about that. Next. So principle 7 basically talks about more regulatory policy and how your organization is doing engagements with the local governments and also looking into the redressal of grievance and influencing the public policy. So to expand the public good through public policy advocacy, it is addressed in the principle 7. And principle 8, it talks about inclusive growth and equitable development. So basically, if you see the 135 section of the Companies Act under 2013, you will find that it is moreover about the development of the country So how we see the principle 8 in such a way, so how the companies could contribute for their nation's agenda and its regulatory framework at national level as well as regional level. So how do you see your all strategies which you are formulating for your company, how it is in line with the nation agenda, which is very, very important. Just like, we have a net zero 2070 goal set by our prime minister. So how do we are also looking as an organization about our decarbonization roadmap. So how do we see all those aspects within our company boundary? So that is very, very important. So if you see principle 8 again, so it has the collaboration between three aspects. One is the government, business, and civil society, because these three parameters are interdependent on each other. So these three are very, very important in the principle 8 disclosure. If you see the principle 9, it basically talk about it's about the value to their consumers in a responsible manner. So basically it address SDG 12, where we are basically addressing that how to minimize excessive consumption, so that for the consumers as well as the planet, for both. So how do a company or business see this particular aspect at a micro level inspection they do, and they understand the need of this particular aspect and try to reduce their consumption patterns, and they have a worry for the planet, they have a they are also looking into the interest of the consumer about their health and well-being, everything. So how safely they are selling the goods and services to the consumer, so how they are creating the value for both. It's a win-win situation. So principle 9 is also very, very important and in line with the SDG 12. But if you see that, we have some essential principles for the disclosure, and there is a voluntary disclosure. So we can choose essential or must in the disclosure. When I'm talking about the requirements, when you write the reporting framework, essential you cannot avoid. It is a must. But when it is a mandate, voluntary part, which is additional, then you can choose whatever the suitable to your organization, what is your materiality issue, you are doing the inventory accordingly, you can pick the specific area. So that is up to you, depending on the type of organization you are dealing with and the type of business you are doing. Next. So after this 9 principles, basically, if we see that we have a lot of challenges, we always talk about challenging, but I always personally feel that although there are challenges, but we need to always have a positive approach, because challenges are always there. We need to cope up the challenges in any way, because we know that the problem is the lack of data, lack of skill talent pool, difficulty in measuring and reporting the metrics. We know all these problems comes into the picture when we start this such BRSR reporting framework for the organization. But how do we understand these challenges and doing a transition in such a way so that everybody is behaving so responsible in the company, taking the responsibility of each and every materiality issue, each and every 9 principles they are considering as an integral part of their business strategy, and coping up with all those challenges using right technologies, doing a lot of design interventions, allocating fund properly, and even the top level people, they are taking right decisions at right time. I think this is just creating a buzz within the organization, and just coping up with all the challenges with the positive, I would say, spirit, which is very, very important. Next. So apart from the challenges, I think we can't neglect the benefit, because when you do the BRSR, it is a value creation pathway. So basically, it enhances the transparency. It does you win the stakeholder trust, which is the most important for a business. You need to look into your brand proposition. You need to win the trust of the stakeholder, financial institutions, your consumers, which is very, very important. And even you are minimizing your risk, not only climate risk I'm talking about, but the regulatory risk as well. You minimize that risk also when you adopt the BRSR set of framework, because when you minimize the regulatory risk, so that also defines your long term goals in a very I would say efficient manner. So apart from that, data management is a very, very important, because without data management, you cannot achieve the setting your set goals and targets. So it's very, very important to understand whether what kind of data you need and how you collect that data, what kind of procedure you need to collect that data, and that data is a quality data or not. So how you scrutinize that, how do you understand that, how you use your skills and expertise in that. This is what the CSO Global we people are doing that particular aspect here. So if you see the community impact and improved ESG performance, this is a complete 360-degree portfolio when a pathway to value creation. If you use this 9 principle and complete, I would say, the set of BRSR framework. So you are basically adding a value creation not only for your company but for the nation, for the people, for the community, and for individuals. Next. Next, Meeta. Yeah. So here I will be just giving you some hint about that. There is a BRSR core, which was a subset of BRSR, and it has some key performance indicators and KPIs, which SEBI had introduced as a ESG attributes. And they call it principle of comply or explain. That means either you comply, if you are not complying, then you have to give the reason for that in the disclosure. And then you can just write in the report that if you are not doing it, so why you are not doing this. So complete framework just define that. So mainly I think from the presentation itself you can see that mostly it is about environment and health and well-being and social attributes. So when it's about GHG emission, water footprint, energy, waste, and if you see the social attributes, it's about the gender diversity, employee well-being, inclusive development, fairness in customers and suppliers. So this is the BRSR code, which is very, very important. And 150 companies in just last financial year, if you see, they have started with the BRSR core already. And SEBI has now made a mandate for the 1,000 companies within the 4 years. But the most important thing is the value chain under the BRSR core has been defined as an upstream and downstream partner. So that's the most important to address your scope 3 emissions and how you can influence your, I would say, stakeholders, external stakeholders, your value supply chain. So that's very, very important here. So that's, I think, good move by SEBI, I would say, to influence MSMEs and SMEs. Next. Huh. So here you can see that when the SEBI has mandated that the listed companies must take their ESG disclosure for their value chain. I think this is a game changer because there are a lot of MSMEs and small scale industry sector in India which need to be influenced, which need to be encouraged about good practices. So I think this is going to be the game changer. This is just a start, but this is going to be really having a bigger, large impact, I would say, macro level. Even let me tell you, the CII, FICI, and then SHM, they all have joined hand with the SEBI, and they have already come up with some guidelines to educate, small scale and micro level these industry businesses. This is going to be having very big positive and long term impact in a, I would say, large way. Next. And I would like to tell you just a very new happening that's about the green credits, specifically for the sixth principle. Sixth principle I have explained about, this is specifically about the environment protection. So if you see this credit program, which was launched by SEBI, this is very much in news now in 2024. So here the listed companies and their value chain partners under BRSR core, which I just mentioned in the last slide, they can, go for these green credits. And approved activities, you can say they are carbon credits, water credits, energy efficiency credits, and biodiversity credits. So you can see that overall it's a nature-based solutions also to avail these credits. And you can cut down your carbon emissions by doing some offsets using purchasing green power, or you can use, some nature-based solutions also to have these benefits. So basically, overall, I would say that inclusion in BRSR shall incentivize the listed entities and their value chain partners, which is a wonderful initiative by SEBI. And I would like to congratulate SEBI. And this is a good move. And I hope that let's see the positive impact in the future, that how these small scale and MSMEs are going to learn about these good practices and they are going to execute effectively, so that we can map all the resource efficiency and we can see that best BRSR practices in the mainstream of the market. With this, I would like to end, and I would like to request Meeta to take the now call and explain about the how the CSO Global is going to help in the BRSR reporting framework to our customers and the clients.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an extremely deep dive and very, very insightful and knowledge session. Thank you once again. Before we move further, I will take just a minute or two of the audience to run you through over and above BRSR. What is the 360-degree framework set of CSO global services that we can offer to you? CSO Global, a US India-based ESG consulting and advisory firm, we offer comprehensive custom-fit solutions from setting baselines and GHG inventory to seamless implementation and reporting and much more. We can start with the left side quadrant that you see, green solutions. Under that, we offer you green building solutions. So we work on structures to make them environmentally responsible, resource efficient through a building's life cycle, from sitting to design to construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and deconstruction. Eco-labeling, a method of environmental performance, certification, and labeling that is practiced around the world. An eco-label identifies products or services proven to be environmentally preferable within a specific category. Life cycle assessment, a process of evaluating the effects that a product has on the environment over the entire period of its life, thereby increasing resource use efficiency and decreasing liabilities. Carbon credit advisory services are essential for organizations aiming to turn sustainable efforts and expertise into strategic financial advantage. Environmental impact assessment, it's a holistic analysis of your environmental footprint with a focus on climate risk, waste management, and resource optimization. ESG reporting and compliance, of course, industry-leading frameworks, be it GRI, SASB, TCFD, and regulatory alignment to meet global standards. Carbon footprint reduction, a precise carbon accounting and cutting-edge strategies that are specifically tailored for waste management and energy efficiency. Social responsibility programs, community engagement, social impact initiatives that foster meaningful change, governance, risk management. We help build a robust ESG governance framework that will mitigate environmental risk effectively, not only for the corporates, but for the financial institutions. We help in decarbonizing the loan portfolio of banks. So these are is an entire bouquet of services that CSO Global offers across the ecosystem to corporates and financial institutions. And these are all custom-made solutions that are specifically customized to meet your sustainability needs, irrespective of what level of sustainability chain that your organization currently is at. I would now like to call upon the SAM corporate team led by Rajgopal sir and Sai to take us through the rest of the presentation, please.
Thanks so much, Meeta. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening and talk about SAM Corporate and our innovative solutions. SAM Corporate is a trusted consultancy and solutions provider headquartered in Dubai with offices in India, the UK, and Spain. Over the past 11 years, we've been committed to delivering cutting-edge solutions to businesses worldwide, particularly in the fintech and ESG domains. Our journey has been marked by working with several CPM solutions, most of which are the top-ranked tools in the industry. A significant highlight here is SAM ESG, our in-house sustainability platform designed to streamline ESG reporting, enhance transparency, and ensure compliance with global standards. Our dedication to excellence is also reflected in our certifications, including ISO certifications for quality, information security, and IT service management. Additionally, we also pride ourselves on understanding the unique needs of businesses across sectors. SAM Corporate helps clients address complex challenges with tailored solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Next, please. Our presence in the global region is what you see in front of your screen right now. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to one of our flagship solutions, SAM ESG, a powerful tool designed to simplify your sustainability reporting with features such as automated data integration, advanced machine language models, ESG calculations, seamless compliance with evolving regulatory standards like SEBI's latest framework. With this, Let's delve deeper into the subject and understand how SAM ESG can help. I would like to request Raj to share his thoughts on the subject before we proceed with the demonstration of the tool.
Thank you, Sai, and it's my pleasure to be here and connecting with all you in this event. Before Dr. Mala has provided a in-depth insight into the BRSR reporting requirements. So to take that in the similar line, I would like to spend next couple of minutes in the challenges normally the organization would come across while implementing BRSR framework in any type of organization, be it SME or in a large scale organization, and how technology can help the organizations to overcome those challenges. So next. Yeah. So basically, if you look at the challenges, the common challenges that organization faces while implementing BRSR framework, it can be grouped into the 4 categories, starting with the data management, stakeholder engagement, measurement and monitoring, and KPI and reporting. So these are the 4 broad categories of the the implementation areas where the organization face the challenges. So start from the data management. It is one of the critical area where the data collection, like in the beginning, Moganji mentioned that collecting the data from different data points itself is one of the biggest challenges, rightly highlighted. So the data collection is one of the area where collecting the data, and if it is a group organization if it is a conglomerate having multiple business divisions within that, then even the collecting of the data from the different verticals and consolidating or integrating those data and preparing a consolidated report, that would be one of the biggest challenge. Similarly, the data could be in a parse and a fragmented and a different formats. Some data may be in the PDF format, and some may be in the Excel format, and some may be in the legacy system. So all the data needs to be pulled together and brought it to a central database to ensure seamless reporting. So the data or another dimension of the data issue is the non-financial data point collection. So 70 to 80% of the data to be collected for ESG reporting is non-financial nature, which most probably or mostly not covered by the financial accounting system so far. So the organization would be now in the phase of collecting the data, enabling the data points. So the data management is one of the biggest challenge. And next comes the stakeholder engagement, be it internal or external. When it comes for internal, involving, educating, bringing awareness from the board to the employees, and also equally involve them in that implementation process. Similarly, the external stakeholders such as customers, the collection of data from the entire value chain partners, and even reporting, meeting the reporting requirements with the regulators. So this is all comes under the stakeholder communication and management. And then the third biggest part or challenge would be on the measurement and monitoring, where they have to calculate the emissions as per the GHQ protocol and set up the strategy and monitor those strategy by setting up the KPI metrics, and also ensure by regular monitoring, the uh, those strategies the set strategies are being complied with it. The policy compliance needs to be on a regular basis to be monitored. So this is another challenge, I can say. Then the last but not the least, that's the final objective of the whole reporting system, that reporting that we can take it in 2 ways: the internal reporting as well as the external reporting. External reporting, regulatory reporting, we make sure the data are corrected and the reporting requirements are met in line with the regulatory requirements, as well as when there is a change in the regulatory requirements, make sure the change management is handled properly, because that is one of the biggest challenge for any organizations to ensure to identify the areas which has an impact, and then assess those impact, and then bring those missing data points if there is no data points, or bringing those data points and enabling that in the embedding within the framework and make it as a regular routine process. It's a big challenge for the organization. So that's a change management part. But all these four are not in a standalone basis. These four areas are interrelated, and one enforcing having the impact on the other areas. Yeah. So this is the common challenges when we look at from the tech perspective or from a overall on the organization's reporting framework perspective. Next. So as usual, the technology is the one that solves the problem, and it brings solutions to that. And technology solutions can be broadly put it into two categories. One is the tactical solution, another one is the strategical solution. So what the tactical solution normally aims for a quick win, and its main objective is to make sure mere compliance of the regulatory requirements. But there are some technology solution providers who look beyond the regulatory, meeting the regulatory requirements, and bring it and aim to bring their long-term value to the business. So that we call it technology solution with the strategic approach. So SAM ESG is one such solution that has been developed with the strategic objective in mind, and that enables organizations to embed a framework, to embrace a framework that consists of the four core pillars of the sustainability, such as governance, strategy, as well as the risk management and the disclosures. So all the four components are addressed in the SAM ESG solutions. Just in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to explain how this is done within the SAM ESG solutions and why we call it as a strategic approach technology solution. So start from one of the challenge we discuss is the data management, and that is the biggest challenge. So understanding and recognizing that challenge, SAM ESG has enabled a very intuitive and robust data management platform within the system, where it provides a multiple ways of data integration. Starts from API, or a even simple Excel upload is possible, and also we enable the user interface. So it's ensure that because we understand the data is in diverse format, and in the most of the cases it may not be there, newly data needs to be collected. So keeping all these challenges, we enabled whatever the possible ways of data integration to the solution is possible. We enabled in the solutions, including an automated data capturing via large language model. Today we will see a quick demo on it, how our system is capable to directly extract the data from there, whatever the format, be it PDF or Excel, we can directly bring it to our solution. And we have a very intuitive, robust ETL that allows front-end users simply map their data, so that there is no data preparation for before we implement the solution. All this further add to the quick deployment. That is our another unique features, where we have most of the things are kept it as a parameterization, and all the whatever the framework related information is required or are preloaded, such as KPI, the regulatory requirement, whether it is GRI, SASB, TCFT, or BRSR, any other national regulation, that all can be quickly parameterized into the system, because nothing has been hard coded in our system. That's a unique feature that allows us to fine tune the solutions to any of the framework or standards quickly without much wasting of the time. And also that's the reason we call it the SAM ESG solution as a industry agnostic as well as framework agnostic, because we can quickly fine tune to any standards. And then comes for the data governance side, where we have very strong audit trail, role management, user interface, everything on the data governance side is taken care of. So far, if you look at it, all the three are addressing the challenges which we discussed on the data management side. Then comes for the measurement side. There we have a dedicated model, GHK accounting, that is in line with the GHK accounting protocol. and it takes care of the computation of scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Within the scope 3, we cover fully the upstream and downstream, all the 15 categories, including the portfolio carbon footprint for banks as per the PCFA guidelines. We have fully covered that. So that takes care of the complete GHQ accounting side, and then comes for the monitoring and tracking side. That starts not only from, starts from the very natural step of materiality assessment that's fully automated within our solutions, that enables us to engage with all the stakeholders, be it internal or external, and that fully automated, and it produces the double materiality results as part of the process. And we also have, once that materiality issues are identified, we have the framework whereby your organization can put the targets in a quantitative manner and set targets and monitor those targets, and also set the KPIs, which is like Dr. Mala mentioned earlier, the key performance indicators on the different parameters all can be easily defined by the end user themselves, or even they want to pick and choose from any of the international standards already that is preloaded. They can use this. Today demo, we can see that. And last but not the least is the reporting part, where we address both the reporting that's internal as well as external. So for when it comes for the internal reporting, we have in our solution our proprietary inbuilt BI tool that allows the users to create a number of insights. And also we have our custom report builder, which is a unique feature that allows organizations to develop their own regulatory report. When I say develop or create, it's nothing on the technology or development side. It's purely an end front-end user can design the layout and then as per the regulatory requirement, and they can use it. Today we will see that also. And we have all the reports as the drill down and drill through facilities are there packed up with the evidence. And then we have a seamless disclosure model that allows the organizations to even directly transmit the data to the regulators. Say, for example, XBRL format needs to be sent. We can do that within that, or PDF or Excel. Everything is possible when it comes for the disclosure reporting. And not the least is the SAM regulatory update service. On top of all of this, we take that responsibility. Any of the regulatory changes, we amend that, and we manage the change management process on behalf of our clients, and we provide them the updated software without any additional cost. That is a unique features, as per my knowledge, no one is providing in the market. And this is why we say our solution is developed with the strategic approach. It's not just to collect data and then prepare a reporting. It's more or less a complete a management system that takes care of the 4 pillars which I mentioned: governance, risk management, strategy, as well as the disclosure part. Now I will request Sai to take from here and just quickly show these features which we discussed now.
In the next 10 minutes, I'll introduce you to SAM ESG, focusing on its capabilities for data integration, calculation of ESG metrics, BRSR report generation, and our regulatory update service with recent SEBI guidelines. Let's dive in. I'm just sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Yep. Okay. So SAM ESG simplifies compliance reporting by generating comprehensive disclosure reports. So this makes it easier and saves hours of manual effort and ensures compliance not only with SEBI's reporting standards, but being a framework agnostic tool, any global reporting standard or regulatory requirement can be met and maintained in the tool. What I will be showing you right now is a sample BRSR disclosure report that we have generated. So as you can see, all the different sections, as well as subsections, as well as the headings and the content have all been built in the tool using our proprietary report building module. So the yeah, so what you can see here is not just the text or the format or the tabular content or everything that you see on the screen. It's not just that, but it's also saved data coming in from the backend. I'd like to divert your attention here to principle 3. So if you can see here, the values highlighted in blue have all been calculations or data that has been pulled in from the data that is loaded into the tool. Not just that, the tool also provides on-the-fly calculations as and when required. Now, all your reports are audit ready and submission ready, which means that you always have an option to download any of the report in any particular format. If I download the report here, you will see the option of a PDF download. You can even download it section-wise if required. And additionally, if you can also download it in Excel or XBRL format as and how you require, so that you can submit it directly to the regulators. Now, this is a BRSR sample report, but I would also like to take your attention to a few other reports that we've generated in the tool, all disclosure reports for different frameworks. So this is a GRI index report that we have created. As you can see, this is a completely different format. And similarly, we also have the SASB report, which is also built and readily available in the tool. And when we say framework agnostic, it does mean that. So even globally for ESRS report is also something we have readily available in the tool. This is why we guarantee any change, or with the regulatory updates being constantly evolving, any changes that is being announced can be handled in the tool, and our customers will have the guarantee that they will always get the latest format of the report from the tool. This is our SAM regulatory update service. Talking about reports, I would also like to highlight about the additional internal reports which the tool is capable of generating. So what you see in front of the screen right now is the dashboard with several reports in front of you. So these reports are all catering to E, S, and G sectors. So our visual representation or our dashboard is designed to ensure user friendliness to the maximum. If you would like to view your visual reports for any particular report, not just one, you always have the option to change that. You always also have the option not just to drill down and drill through, but also to filter as and when required. So I'm moving on to the next set of dashboards just to give you a glimpse of the different report structures that we have. SAM ESG also has inbuilt emission calculations as per the GHG protocol for scope 1, scope 2, as well as scope 3. Now, as you may already know, double materiality assessment helps banks identify ESG factors that are both financially material and impactful on sustainability goals. What you see on the screen is a result of a double materiality assessment. You will not only get a visual representation of the comparison of impact on ESG as well as on impact on stakeholders, but all the reports that is produced by SAM ESG is transparent, where you will get the details of the configuration of the assessment, what went to in creating the report or the responses received. And also, as you can see, it is compliant to all the regulatory frameworks, all the topics and standards. You will get all of this information right here in the screen. Now, when we talk about the different kinds of reports, a main key point here is that of data load. Now, data has to be made available into the tool in order to create or generate different reports, even monitoring as well as disclosure reports. So one of SAM ESG's key strength is seamless data integration. So be it manual Excel uploads, line by line data entry, or extracting data from source system, extracting data from a third party API, or even IoT devices, SAM ESG has that option so that you will get all of your ESG data in a single platform in an easy plain view. Now, to demonstrate this, I would like to take up another example of a use case that we had, where we had a large bank who had electricity bills coming in from their different branches. And the need of the hour was to extract data from those bills, say the bills may be in a PDF format, extract those bills and then load it into the tool directly for calculation. Because at that point, there was a lot of manual work going on extracting data from, say, such a PDF file of an electricity bill, and then loading it into the tool manually. So what you see in your screen is a sample electricity bill, which I would like to show you. And what the tool does intelligently using our machine language module is that it extracts all of the relevant information required for your electricity or scope 2 calculations rather. So how is this possible? Let me demonstrate. So we have a PDF and an image extraction. So the image extraction refers to another use case where there were a lot of handwritten notes which had to be transferred, translated, and then loaded into the tool. Our tool is capable of handling that as well. So if I upload the electricity bill and then just click extract, within no time, our module or our system intelligently reads the relevant data which I want for it to capture and simultaneously even starts loading it into the tool. Now let me just go back to the tool and show you how this data load is going to be reflected in no time, and it is a real-time activity as well. So when we're talking, since we are uploading an electricity bill here, I also want to highlight that SAM ESG is compatible for scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 calculations as per the GHG protocol. You also have different options of loading your data. What I showed you right now was a PDF extraction. Apart from that, you also have ETLs. But if you just want to enter a manual line item, you always have that option as well to do that, along with uploading supporting documents where required. So once data is loaded into the tool, our calculation modules, which is inbuilt, will run the calculations on the approved data and then create your relevant reports similar to what you saw in the dashboard earlier. So navigating into scope 2. So here, if you look at the timestamp, you will understand that this is the data that I've loaded, or this is the data that was read by the tool. And I've coded it in such a way that I want a single line item so I can show you. So all of this data, which was extracted from the PDF file, is loaded into the tool seamlessly, and calculations can now happen. This is how robust SAM ESG is when it comes to data collection as well as calculations. Now, once data is made available into the tool, what is the next thing that we can do about it? So apart from reports, we also have KPIs. SAM ESG provides a comprehensive KPI library that lists all critical ESG indicators, specifically tailored not only to align with BRSR requirements, but also all requirements globally. So our KPI library has options to select for different sectors as well as different topics. So selecting a particular sector or a topic will list the relevant KPIs, which are to be calculated based on the regulatory requirements, and you can use them and do your calculations and even have a KPI report. Apart from that, as you can see, every KPI that's made available in the tool will also have the relevant references. Going a step ahead, keeping our user or our customer base in mind, if there are any organization-specific KPIs which you would like to monitor, there is always an option of adding your own custom KPIs as well. So with all of these features and more, this is a very small glimpse into the tool, but this is what I would like to highlight. To summarize, now SAM ESG offers robust data integration, precise ESG calculations, automated BRSR reporting, and real-time regulatory updates, all designed to make your ESG reporting seamless and efficient.